Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's first series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
Archlex George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
Today, this is going to be a special episode, special guest episode. We will be interviewing TamElBore from the First Law subreddit and the House of the Meme Maker subreddit for this episode. So let's get started. As usual, we got to thank the audience for all your support, people like TamElBore. And we just want to remind you all to try to follow us on the social medias and the YouTubes if you could. That'd be so nice, right?
Yes, we agree. Yes. Welcome, TamElBore. It's a pleasure to have you on. We are absolutely excited to have you on.
Yeah, this is like me meeting my heroes, so this is a massive moment for me.
You're our hero, Tom.
Oh.
Yeah, how do we have meme of the week without you? Nearly impossible.
I'm just a loser. It makes me insane. It doesn't mean a thing. You guys are doing the real graft out there.
We're just losers who make a podcast, so it's fine.
Yeah, heroes.
We're just three morons just talking about a fantasy series while we're hammered. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey, look, we're all hammered in some way, Jeff. I've got like a bottle of Moretti beside me here.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So, TamElBore.
Yeah.
This, I don't know. Do you want to use your first name? Do you care? Or
I can do it. No, I don't mind at all. No, I was just actually telling the lads there, Jeff, before you come on. It's Tadhg, so it's really, really Irish name. I don't know if you ever heard that before. Tadhg.
What's it? Pike?
Tadhg. Okay, so no, honestly, that's the best way.
Wait. Pike? Like Pike, like pikey, like that?
Yeah, Pike. I'm Pike. Give me naked soup.
You know what? I think we're gonna stick with TamElBore.
No, Jeff, honestly, the best way just to describe it is tiger without the R. If you just think of the word tiger without the R, you'll get it.
Oh, Tadhg.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we can stick with Tam. We can stick with TamElBore since that's what.
Jeff just called you. I'm pretty sure Jeff just called you a pikey.
He called me a pikey.
I did.
He's like, you fucking traveler.
Yeah. Unintentionally. I'm sorry. So anyway,
it's all good.
TamElBore, aka Tadhg, aka Pikey. Tell us about your Reddit journey. No, first of all, forget Reddit. Tell us about how
Reddit.
Tell us how you discovered the First Law.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to tell you that. So I actually think I was in the same journey because I think you mentioned this before. Are you kind of relatively new to fantasy, Jeff?
A little bit, somewhat. Like I'm not as wide read.
Yeah, I'm the same. So honestly, God, do you know what happened? It was during lockdown, and I was fucking bored off my tits. I was like, I need something to pass my time instead of watching Tiger King 24/7. So I was like, I remember like my friend's wife recommended Wheel of Time to me. So like, okay, I'll start like reading fantasy. So went through like Wheel of Time, which honestly could have took a year. Like it was like huge undertaking. Yeah. Have you guys read it?
Yeah.
I don't have the stamina for it.
It's a slog. It was great. Don't be wrong. No, I loved the time. And then I moved on to Malazan. So which is another massive slog. Okay, and so I was kind of like reading those books, watching kind of like YouTube channels about fantasy, and a lot of them were recommending the First Law. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll get to that, but I had read that it was like really depressing, which is kind of like, well, but that's like the kind of mainstream. You read some reviews, like they're not like the real fans like us, but you know what I mean. And then I got into First Law. I was like, this is fucking hilarious. I was like, absolutely love this. And so that was kind of like, it was Real Time, Malazan, First Law. And that was like all my fancy at that stage. And so that was basically how I got into First Law. But the one thing I'm genuinely really curious, because I always wondered this, is after I read First Law, like Joe, his characters they're like unbelievable. They're amazing. But did you guys ever go to like any fancy after that and just find the characters shit? And what I was thinking was like, is it because of First Law or are they actually shit? And I know this is going to sound, it's really early in the podcast, it's going to sound really sacrilegious. I read Lord of the Rings after First Law, and I was like, this is shit. I know it sounds awful. I was like, the characters are so bland, so boring. I was like, which I know, I get it. Lord of the Rings about the lore, the world building, all that, but I was just like, I miss Logan.
Well, I have some heavy thoughts on this, but Jeffrey, you want to go first on TamElBore's question?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, this might be sacrilegious on my end. I still have yet to read Lord of the Rings, so.
No, I'm joking.
We're not judging you, Jeffrey.
Sure.
Time.
I feel it.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm the same. I've had it on my shelves for years, and I've read 2 of them, and I can't bring myself to read the last one.
Oh my god, I'm the only true fantasy fan.
No, I'm the exact same. I'm the exact same as George. I got like halfway through the second, and I was like, the films are better.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it sounds like, it sounds bad, whatever, but like, I don't know. I was just like, the character's really bland. It was like, Joe's character was so amazing. You know what I mean?
So I think that a lot of that comes to a point with, I don't think other characters are bad. I think Joe just makes them feel so human, like they're real people, that whenever you read another one, you are used to those people automatically just being a full-fledged human being, and then you read about somebody who isn't as complex, and you're like, that's not a human being. I can't relate to this. And it makes it seem like other characters seem dull because they are just normal characters, but Joe makes people.
Yeah. I also think he focuses a lot more time on the characters, Like, I know the Blade itself gets a lot of shit, but to me, that's like an amazing book because like that was the groundwork for everything. Do you know? Well, not for everything, but for the characters. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I never understand why people say that about the Blade itself, because it's engaging.
Totally
it doesn't matter that there's no plot; you're still engaged by it.
Yeah, and like maybe Joe like wasn't, it was his early days of writing, and maybe his prose wasn't as good as Age of Madness, but it's still unbelievable, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's what people talk about when they talk about the Blade itself. That is nothing. Like the characterization is great, but it's that because it's his first book that the writing is a little clunky, the prose is a little, But obviously, right before their hands and Last Argument of Kings, he picks it right up,
Yeah,
so I think
absolutely.
that's what people when they complain or they rag on the Blade itself, I think it's within like that framework, not about the characterization.
Yeah, but the thing as well is that when Joe even went at his early stages, his like the comedy is just unbelievable to me. Like I've never seen anything like that in fantasy, and I've seen a lot of authors try it and they haven't come close to him.
Well, there's so many different kinds of comedy and stuff. The first saw there's like physical comedy where he describes a scene and it just seems hilarious. There is like sarcastic dialogue between the characters.
I love the sarcastic. Sorry,
there's banter.
I adore that. As like George would probably say from Britain, they're like full of sarcasm over there,
Yeah,
that's like all our comedy over here. Like honestly,
we're sarcastic as fuck.
Yeah. Like, have you guys ever watched the UK Office?
No, I've not. I heard that's the real Office.
Oh man, yeah, that's like subtle, cringy, subtle comedy, and that's kind of what when I read like Joe's, I'm like, I definitely think he draws some inspiration from something from Ricky Gervais. I can see it. Like it's just great. Yeah.
Well, TamElBore, you have we've talked about it a couple times, like in messaging and when we were getting ready for this. And I think last time you were going to get on with this, you said you got married, right?
Yeah, I have a heavily pregnant wife downstairs. That's why, sorry lads. That's
congrats,
man. That's why my timing was so restricted for this. I apologize, but it's hard. It's like sorry, I'm just going up to do my fancy podcast. You're right.
That's awesome, man.
No, but thanks, man. Thanks, guys. And she's great about it too. She really encourages it. Thanks.
Awesome to hear that.
So whenever we were discussing you getting on the first time, you mentioned how Before They're Hanged is like your favorite book. So it was going to work out fine that you came on for this one instead because we just finished Before They're Hanged. So
yeah, totally.
Obviously, everybody has their favorite book, and Before They're Hanged is up there in favorites for a lot of people. But why is it your favorite compared to like all the other fantastic books in this series?
Yeah, absolutely. So I adore this book, and the reason is so I was kind of on that trend of reading a lot of fantasy, and it was great. It was like I know I like shitting Malazan fans a lot because they're like pompous assholes or no, I'm joking. But I did love those books. It was just like when I got to Joe, and I adored the blade itself, whatever. But then when I got to Before They Were Hanged, I was just like, this is like such a step up, as in the prose, the writing, the characters. There's so many great storylines, like all kind of like wound together, and I just adore that. But the thing is, as well, to be honest, is it is my favorite book. I still would have it as my favorite book, which favorite book can like change like the weather, as in like you'd read like as in I was saying sorry before this call. I'm on a reread at the moment. First time doing Pacey of Age of Madness, and I'm doing Trouble with Peace, and I'm just like, this is amazing as well. But I still always just find myself come back to Before They're Hanged, because you've got like, I just feel you've got the strongest cast. You've got Glopta, you've got Logan, you've got Giselle, you've got Pharaoh, you've got Baez with his pomposity, which I just love. I also just adore the way like the world building is told through Baez, and it's like going out far too, we're all kind of like Giselle, we're like, oh, what the fuck's he on about? But then like when you're kind of like, oh, this is like really great, so, and I think like Joe used Before They're Hanged for a lot of his world building. Definitely like he did use it for that. But he also just like stepped up so much, and especially because you guys know, like I've done like loads of comments on like Ladisla and all that, and I just love that stuff so much. Like you got West there, who's just that like he's gonna like absolutely snap. You got this pompous retard Ladisla, just like but you know what I mean? It's just like, and I don't know, I just feel like you connect it to kind of modern day as well. These like leaders who are just so useless. And for me, it was just like, that was when Joe like really stepped up. And I know like kept stepping up, but I felt like that was like the biggest jump. And that was like when he really found his like footing as like this amazing author. I was like, wow, this like guy, like, honestly, like these books, I just fell in love with. And like they are the only ones I reread, like I would happily like reread, and like it helps. Look, you got Pacey, like the best narrator in the world.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, there's like a lot of shit untangled there, but characters, prose, storylines, it all just like jumped way up, and it did. Like I love Last Argument of Kings, but I don't know. There was like, I just preferred Before They're Hanged. I don't know. I just did, and I'm just an OG trilogy fan. I just adore these original characters so much.
Well, I think
I wish we had more of them, but whatever.
I think that with the Before They're Hanged as well, there's not really another book where the characters spend as much time as they do together, as they do in that, other than maybe Best Served Cold, which is another one of people's favorites. And I think when you get to see these characters whenever they're interacting with one another, and you realize that what the other characters are thinking because they're written so well, and compared to just speaking to the NPC, the side characters.
But as well, and like Before They're Hanged, you kind of have like, for me, like the top characters all together. I think like Logan, Pharaoh, Giselle, Baez, they're all like together, and they're all like getting on each other's nerves. Apart from like, and this kind of where you have like kind of nice Logan,
Yeah.
Before he breaks your heart, and you're like, oh, this guy's great, you kind of like forget about like all the stuff he was saying in the blade itself, about all the terrible things he did. And you're like, oh, he's like a really nice guy, and he's trying really well to like get the group together. And then Last Argument King's like, oh, fuck's sake.
We there's also anytime inside of the later books, like in Age of Madness, the best moments are when the characters are interacting with each other.
Yeah. Absolutely, like kind of like Leo Orso stuff, like.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
I love how all of that character development in Before They Hang just turns out, well, plot wise, to be for literally nothing. So it's brilliant. That's the best part of the book is literally pointless.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're just like, oh, I adore that. Like, I think like I've heard like complaints about that, but I'm like, no, that was like the whole point. It was like these fucking tropes, we see, as in like, oh, the hero, oh, look, they went and found the ring, and it was in the box. Yeah, exactly.
It's like we all love those stories of that happening, but like this was like the first book that I read that I really felt like, and Before They're Hanged specifically, it's and it's very cheesy to say, but it's the truth. It's for everything. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and the whole book is just the journey. And then You know, even the battle scenes up in the north, like it's just about the characters and stuff. Because by the end of before they're hanged, they're basically in the same spot they were at the end, other than three trees dying. That's it. That's the only difference, really.
Yeah,
in terms of
like a lot of people say that like that journey was pointless, but to me, it's like it wasn't, because we got so much character development. Like I assume that was Joe's point.
Were you not entertained the whole time? Then it was a good fucking book. So what's the problem?
Yeah, man, lads, I'm like crying, laughing reading this stuff. I don't know about you, but like this is the funniest shit I've ever read. And people like say, what's the best thing about First Law? I'm like the humor.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and you see it in your podcast, like you guys are like in tears laughing when you're talking about it, as in like, it's true. Like it's just so fucking funny. Like,
well, we could tell you, whenever we when we met up with Will, and even when we went to New York, and we were just cracking jokes the entire time, like it was nonstop, and we didn't really get bored of it either. It's just there's so much content out there to make fun of and have a good time and laugh about.
Yeah, and like even with the memes, as in like it's because it's so fucking memeable, It's just like it's so funny. Yeah, like honest to God, I'm not saying, but like whenever I meme, it's like I'm just after hearing like Pacey like describe something hilarious, and I go, that actually kind of suits that meme there, Even though but like half the time I put them up, I'm pissed, but as in, it's great.
No, I'm glad that you see things in memes like I do. Everything I see is in a meme form.
Yeah. You can relate it to like so many like things in pop culture. It's great. It's just brilliant.
I mean, that is the thing, isn't it? Joe is a big pop culture guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
he knows all of his standalones are based off certain films and certain tropes and certain genres.
Yeah, totally.
So you can see that in everything he does. Like, there's references to films. I can't name anything in particular, but there's just certain.
But there's been a lot of comparisons with Joe's work to like Tarantino's.
Yeah, I could say so, especially with the violence and the way that he uses violence comedically.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tarantino, he does kind of throw in that comedy. It's not like too serious, and then like Jesus, fucking violence all the time. Like I don't know, have you guys ever read like the Prince trilogy?
No.
The what's it called? The first Prince of it. It's the R. Scott Baker stuff. The darkness that comes before.
No,
but that's like really, really, really grimdark,
Yeah.
And I'm reading that at the moment, and you're kind of just like, it's a bit too much,
Yeah.
I need a bit of humor here somewhere.
Yeah. I would never call Joe Abercrombie grimdark. I don't know why people call it that.
Yeah. Well, he calls himself a Lord Grimdark.
Because you read something like you read into like Warhammer or something where everything's just ridiculously dark for everyone all the time. No matter what.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of person you are in the universe, you just have a shit life, and that's
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not in the First Law too. It's not just the fact that it's funny; it's the fact that there are random moments of like complete sincerity between these extremely human characters that just sometimes it just makes you fucking cry. Like Orso dying, or like in Red Country, whenever Shy and Logan have their talk right before he goes back for Savion. That part always gets me. Like it fucking breaks me because it's so. It's done
you got
so well.
It's like a primary character is actually a really good guy,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like some people like say, well, he's watching hangings, but it's like he grew up in that,
It was he supposed to do. Stop! In the name of my father.
I love that. How also he's just like, well, I'd really love to stop these hangings, but I just can't be arsed.
I need some paradise.
Orso's a pretty good guy, but he's got flaws like every human.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
It just so happens that his laziness affects way more people than the average person's laziness would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. Bigger. But as well, like when he actually tries to anything good, like I know like some people see it as an excuse, but I just feel like he can't, as in he's just being held back. Like, what do you like tell Glock to fuck off, or what do you do? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got like vials like looming over your shoulder.
Yeah. And speaking kind of like downsides and sad moments. What is in Before They're Hanged? It's your favorite book, and obviously it's one of all of ours. It's up there and they're in our lists. But out of curiosity, what do you think are its weak points? Where it's like, this isn't as good as the other books in this moment, or What's a theme that's not as strong as it probably could be? Like, what's the flaws in it?
That's a really, really good question. I hadn't really thought of the flaws. But I thought when you were going to say downsides to sad moments, I was like, oh, trees.
I know.
Yeah, well, I would say the only thing I would say is that like it's pretty evident in Age of Madness that Joe's writing does improve. Like
yeah,
it's on their level. So I would say, yeah, I totally get like the writing's maybe not as good, but I don't know. I still see it as top tier. And if I'm sorry, I'm just really trying to think off the top of my head. I would say, even though I do really like the chapter, like the last one where there's the second to last one where the lads from North are fighting the Shanka.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do like it, but it just feels a bit
bland,
a bit superhero comic-y book, or I don't know.
Yeah, like know. Avengers, like an Avengers screenshot of them all doing something cool.
yeah, but I did like it, but it was just a bit like, and also the one thing I would say about Joe is that definitely in the first trilogy, I don't know, and female characters, but look, he's a male writer, maybe it's tough, but I think he did struggle a little. Like, I do like Pharaoh, but I definitely feel she was a lot more limited than the other characters. And actually, funnily enough, think honestly, in the first trilogy, he actually excels more with the non-POV females. Like, I love RD,
Oh my god!
And and like in the heroes, like Finri is like amazing. But I know she's like kind of POV. Well, she is POV, but there's so many characters in the heroes. I don't want to go on a tangent, but yeah, I do feel he definitely struggled with female characters in the first trilogy, and his writing part, like, even though it was amazing, it wasn't as good as like his later stuff. But honestly, I'm finding it hard to think of weak stuff because I just love it so much.
Hey, that's okay. I just am challenging your ideals.
Yeah, I love that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's I just adore the book so much. It's like one of those, like, if you're like ever thinking like your favorite book you ever read, for me it's Before Their Hang. That was the one that just like changed everything for me. I was like, wow, this stuff can actually be funny without being completely depressing. And also in like a lot of fantasy, I don't know, do you guys find that the comedy a bit lame, or I don't know, I find it a bit like
forced. It always feels forced.
Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, George, get out of this bag.
I like him. I've read all of his books, but he doesn't do comedy. Sorry.
Well, what do you say is your obviously it's hard to pick one. I can't pick one in any of the books. What is your top 3 favorite like scenes inside the entire Before Their Hang book?
Just in Before Their Hang, is it?
Just in Before Their Hang.
Not 100%. The chapter where Wes is with Ladisla and they're like getting ready for like the Northmen and the mist coming up. And so I know like you guys have like quoted Ladisla so much, but there is one like hilarious moment, and it's really like emphasized when Pacey does it. And like when they like run the like 4 Northmen up the hill, he's like, write them down.
Write them down.
And it's like
drive them back over the border.
That's the damn recipe.
It's like so smug, and then like 2 minutes later, he's like shitting it.
Yeah. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's one. And you're gonna notice a theme here, by the way, that I adore the Northmen. So that's one, okay. The other one is when they go into the tent. Actually, you're gonna notice that I adore Ladisla. I don't know he's a cunt, but they go into the tent where like Ladisla and all his like servants or whatever the fuck they are, his friends or Lord Cunt and that are there.
I love this. That's like so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like so ridiculous. It's funny, and it's like there's like a moment where like I don't know who says it. It's like someone says something. I don't know, is it West? And like the guy like playing the violin like screeches like, and you can like just picture that in like so many like comedy shows you've seen, but it's just so good.
He's like, give me something more martial.
Yeah. I turned into a jaunty. I love that word jaunty. You can just picture them like, it's like Ladislad's going back to like swigging his wine. He's like, it's all grand, yeah.
that impending doom of Bethod on like, if I'm West POV and the Dogman is I think it's done really well too. Like, it makes you feel like Bethod is invincible.
Yeah.
And it just makes the reveal, and most of the legwork for Bethod, like how he operates, is done, I think, in this book.
Yeah, totally.
And then
it really helps that we never get a side, like a POV from his side, because typically in like a fantasy you'd have, or in a lot of fantasy these days especially, you'd have a POV inside of Bethod's faction, so you kind of have an idea of what's going on, but because it's completely blind, you don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And
it's the same reason I theorize that like people don't like Ricker winning against Calder for that reason. If we didn't see Ricker's POV, we'd be like, damn, Ricker's really good in battle.
100%. The problem is that like Black Calder is so fucking likable in the heroes. I know,
he is very likable.
Yeah, he's just like this cool, like smart fucker, you know, he's like surrounded by all these like Northmen who are just obsessed with names, and he's like just, you know, running with it a totally different way, and he's running around with a Styrian letter, like he's like they should all hate him, but they're like, oh no, he's actually, you know, he pretty knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has his uses.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for Calder by the time of like the Edge of Madness, right?
Yeah.
Right towards the end, like he's lost his brother and his son, and he's like just tired, and he's just like, fuck it, just kill me, I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his son's a cunt, like, because Calder, he had like something. Calder had something about him, you know, as in like he cared for his wife and he cared for his brother. There was something kind of likable about him. I know, like, you know, he's fairly ruthless, but
it's what's sad too is if Seth had not died, more than likely Stour would not have been the way he was, because Calder is so he really is just a loving person to the people who are close to him, that without Seth there, he babied Stowers to the degree that he became what he was. Yeah. Obviously, he, you know, that's a failing on Calder's part completely because he was his parent. But at the same time, it's understandable.
Totally.
It's so consistent, and that's really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And by that stage, I'm blanking. What's Calder's brother's name?
Scale.
Scale was just horrific at that stage. He was just a mess, and even like, I know it was horrible as what Stour did, but like Scale like just smacked him across the head. Like he was just a cunt. Like, you know, he had like little like servants. It was just horrible. But actually, sorry, like just getting back to before they're hanged. The one thing I always think I don't hear much is, personally for me, it's West's book, and there are so many great characters, but I just feel like West went on this just amazing journey where, you know, like we all. Sorry, Harris. I know it's a touchy subject.
And finish your piece, my man. Finish your piece.
No, but like exactly, like what he did to RD like was horrific, because like the thing is, like what he did is, like if anyone gets, like I've got like a punch before, you know, like, and you know, it wouldn't be as near as not from like a family member or anything, but like it's traumatic, you know, like it does stick with you, and like there's even like random nights years ago that pops your head like what the fuck, but like magnify that by like 100, like your brother, like, you know, choking you and like beating the shit out of you. Horrific. No defending that at all. This isn't really a book moment, but what I'm trying to say is that like then he's really kind of complex, because you're like, okay, he's a fucking asshole, but then he like really steps up, you know, as in like when Marshall Burr or whatever is sick or whatever, like he does genuinely step up, and he does like a lot of good things. Not saying he's a good person, but he does a lot of like things that have a lot of benefit around him. That, like, you know, if you had like Croy or what's it, Polder, is it, in charge? I don't know. I feel like at that stage, like, you know, we all know, you know, like Croy, he improves in the heroes, or whatever. But like, I think at that stage it would have been a lot worse. And I feel like he did. I just think that's why Wes is like such a complex guy. He's like, you're a fucking cunt, but you know, you've a lot of cool moments here that I really like.
Yeah. West is a complex, you know, complicated journey that is unappreciated by a certain Adeptus Historical over here with an axe to grind. But I think West has one of the better arcs in the book, at least, and before they're hanged. It's not, you know, the first trilogy.
So
here we go.
Clear.
This has now become the West episode.
I like West an immense amount as a character. And no doubt he does step up to the plate, and he does become a better person, and he does learn, and he is genuinely sorry. And he is somebody who is a victim who unfortunately went the one of two paths that you go whenever you are a victim, which is either you become the person that abused you, or you become better and like are very resistant and become stronger for it. He at first became the abuser like his father, but he did overcome that in time, and I believe if
He
he was
did.
alive, he would have became one of the best people around. So whenever I bash West, it's only because there is so much support for West, and I don't want people to forget that he's also a cunt like everybody. Some people think that West is like some of the best, like the best person in the series, and I'm like, that is bullshit. But he is an amazing character that has that grows a lot in really subtle ways. That is like not as noticeable, like on face value. You kind of it seems like you just kind of forget that what he did, but Wes never forgets what he did. So
and
I like
and also the thing you notice as well, like in a lot of subreddits, is that the most like or the most interesting discussion, it's usually West or like Logan. I'd say Logan or West. That's where all the really kind of, when you see like the actual debates going on online, it's those two, you know, and they really do divide opinion.
It's because they're so stark. Like Glockner's like, I know he knows what he is, and he does bad things, and it's like whatever, because that's who he is. With Logan and West, it's like either they are just a really pretty normal standard dude who's like nice and is wise and you know works their hardest, or they're a fucking insane murderer or a fucking sister beater. You know, like it's so extreme.
Yeah, totally. And Joe like writes them as those really likable characters to start, and that kind of what like draws you into them, and you're like, fuck, I know I shouldn't like him, but I do.
It is. I find that amazing that so many people relate that moment in Blade itself as like the moment where you're like, holy shit, these books are like, this is the biggest thing that's happened in this book is this character is beating his sister.
Oh yeah, when I read that, I was like, I've never read any fantasy like this. It's like, this is like different.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like back like reading like Stephen King. I don't know, like, sorry, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but
no, I agree, man.
Yeah, like you read like Stephen King, he's kind of like that. It's like, oh, these like amazing characters, you know, and I feel like Joe's the same. You write them as likable, and you're like, oh.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean,
read through. Go ahead, George.
I mean, you're exactly right on the Stephen King comparison. Like Stephen King's characters are all cunts, and he does write them in a very, very similar way. I think King's like, a little bit more stuck in the past with certain things. But
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about now. Yeah, he's like stuck in like the 1960s of America, or sorry, the 1860s. Yeah. No, but like King is like, honestly, King is like the one guy after Joe. I was like, oh, his character's so great. Do you know? As in, the Dark Tower series is just, I just adore it. Like,
oh yes,
yeah.
I'm currently reading the Dark Tower, and no spoilers, but goddamn.
Yeah, I really it's amazing. Yeah. No, he does like everyone thinks like King is like, you know, this like horror guy, but like if you're on like the Stephen King subreddit, like all the people on there, like they're like major Stephen King fans. It's like, why do you love Stephen King? They like the characters, just like us with Joe. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Joe, you get like good comedy, good battles, and everything like that. But you're there for the characters.
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
That you're so right too. Like, I don't think we quite answered your first question as well, which was like, you ever feel like whenever you go read other series that the other characters aren't as good? And I just remember like I finished the first Law in its entirety, and then I went back and reread the original trilogy for the second time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break and read something else.
Yeah.
I didn't remember what it was, but it was ass, and I was just like, I'm so bored. The characters, this is so basic. Like, oh, I felt like he was looking at me in a certain way that maybe he liked me, and like this fucking bullshit. And so I go back to Best of Cold, and it was like the sunrise or the sunset was the color of bad blood. And I was like, that's the shit. That's the good stuff.
But is that like, what were those books bad, or was it because like Joe is so good?
I know. I find that because I have to take a break and read something else when I go back to fantasy. When I stop reading, and because we're doing the podcast all the time, I'm listening to it all the time.
Yeah.
So especially with audiobooks, if I try and listen to an inferior audiobook of an inferior book, I'm just like,
it is
inferior.
I've even seen like our fantasy, which, you know, but like even there, when someone asks about audio, and they're like, no, Pacey the best. So, you know, it's not just like a bias. You know, maybe we're a bit biased in that. It's like, no, he is like the standard.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, is it true that other people's books are different? But I think there are a lot of people out there in the world who like the style of Joe Abercrombie's like no one will deny, even if you don't like the plot, you still read like the characters. And for
Yeah.
those who don't even give a fuck about the plot, we just want to see a human story for human beings. And we like the fantasy genre, so you can do what you want. I think that just strikes a chord with us where it means that it just works with us, and there's a lot of people who it does work.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, I felt like I was reading a lot of fantasy. I was like, this is so fucking complicated, and like, not like Joe is simpler, but it was like straightforward, as in like, okay, there's great characters, you explain them. There's no fucking hidden bullshit, like, I don't know. Maybe that was just me after my last, and I was like, fuck's sake, I'm at book 9. I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Another character reveals there. I've revealed my trap card that I've been planning for 10 novels, and it's like, oh my.
Yeah.
I can't
Have you read it?
keep up with this shit. I got up to book 6, and I was like, no, I can't be asked for this anymore.
If you're talking about Malazan, whatever, I got up to book 2, and I was utterly confused, and I was just like, I think I need to go back to like reading children's books or something at that point.
Jeff,
it's not just you, Jeff. It's fine.
Jeff, you go onto the Malazan subreddit, and everyone's like, "This is the most emotional, amazing book." I'm like, I haven't fucking clue what's going on.
Hey, not to say on the Malazan too much, but like, is it like the Rick and Morty effect, where the people who watch it, the people who are like, I appreciate it what it is, and then the people who are like, you're just not intelligent enough to really appreciate its full meaning. Is it like that?
Yeah, it is. No, like, honestly, when I'm like I was before I fucking deleted my account. I was on the Malazan subreddit, and there's actually something like, a lot of them are like really nice, but there's also a heavy like thing of like, you just don't understand it. Oh my god! And like, when I was reading that, I was like literally reading like a read through at the same time on like Tor, like, as in they were explaining every chapter, because I was like, I'm fucking sure what's going on. I don't want to find out 3 books later,
Yeah, and I think what didn't help when I was reading it, correct me if I'm mistaken, the second book is just completely different characters, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was just so fucked. I was like,
but Jeff, book 9, there's totally new characters.
Like, Jesus
Christ.
What? And like these, and these are
he
like,
thinks he can do that
books.
though. He does do the character switches really, really well.
Yeah.
It's just everyone is just constantly extra all the time. Everyone's always backstabbing everyone else all the time, no matter what. And it's like, okay, I'm really just trying to figure out who's going to stab who in the back next.
Yeah, I feel like if I went back to it now after Joe, I'd be like, these characters are shite.
The way like the characters are inside the First Law too, like with our community on especially on Reddit. I like that when people don't like it. There's 2 reactions. There's either like, oh, is this a joke? Because it's like so repulsive. Like they're saying things that are just ridiculous, period. Or people are like, if you don't like it, who cares? It's fine. You don't have to like it. That's the reaction. It's not like you just don't understand. It's always like if you don't like it, that's fine. But like, whatever, dude. We don't care. This is a fan page.
I feel like the First Law community are just like really laid back and cool,
Yeah, there's not like a huge sense of like possession with the community.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you don't like it, it's grand, whatever. You're allowed. And how dare you slate Voldemort or whatever, all that bullshit, like, fuck off.
Although I will say that it's gotten to the size now where we are starting to get some of that, unfortunately, which is depressing.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable.
You guys are eventually going to interview Joe.
That's the goal.
I don't know. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it's going to happen. You're like...
do every single book, and we record everything that we can get him. Well, Joe, he has to talk to us for like 10 minutes.
I've seen him do like, I don't know, do you guys know Friends Talking Fancy?
Yeah.
Because that's where I first like started listening to First Law on podcasts, because they did a few episodes, but they do like all fantasy, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'd love more First Law stuff. And so you guys came along, and it was great, but like, as in, they had Joe on, so I think you guys would definitely have Joe. Yeah.
I think they're quite big though.
Well, they're a bit bigger, because they cover all fantasy, but you guys are still like in early days,
I mean, guys, we are like in the top 20 podcasts. I mean, 20%.
Top 5% podcasts on Buzzsprout.
Tim, no.
Yeah, that's Buzzsprout. We don't even know what the real metrics are.
I have no idea what Buzzsprout is.
It's the
podcast site. Oh, okay. I listened to this on Spotify, but okay.
Yeah.
It's like a third party thing. We have to go through Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout goes to all the other people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you have to do it.
Yeah, but I know they're, but I think Joe is like partial to like, I've seen him like do interviews with small YouTube channels and stuff. Like he seems like a cool guy. I think
TamElBore,
definitely
it's purely the fact that we're like the fact that something like that would happen to us because we're such massive fangirls of him that we are like, no, it can't happen. It could never happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would act. I think I don't know. To even be coherent.
It was me. I just faint and to be at silence for like an hour. Joe would be like, "Where's that retard gone?" Yeah.
I do think
fucking loser that does memes.
I do think that one day though, I think we will.
No, I do, yeah.
And it would be so awesome.
I'm not just saying it.
Yeah. Our achievement, man. It's gonna be awesome because
wouldn't it be so funny if he just came on and was like, "You guys need to get a fucking life."
Have you ever seen like Joe when he's on like Reddit? He like is kind of like that. He's like so sarcastic. Yeah. I think like it was Sir Spaceman or Will like wrote to him saying, "Hey, have you heard of us?" And he was like, "I have, and you're a disgrace."
Yeah, I remember that.
I like what he actually said. It was, "You've gone to a place beyond approval or disapproval to where I do not know."
Brilliant. Yeah, but no, I genuinely think he'd love it. Like I think he'd appreciate it. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like I know that George doesn't think so. We talked about it, but I said I feel like he's heard of us, but he hasn't he hasn't listened to us either because he doesn't care enough right now, or he's just like he's busy, he doesn't do other stuff, so he just is like he just it's not a high priority for him. But maybe one day he's bored sitting at home and he sees like this thing on Reddit, "Hey, Circle the World podcast, blah blah blah," and he's like, maybe I will. Plus I can't blame the guy. We break the series down, right? We break it down and we're already in the fandom, so whenever we are doing stuff we might be reaching some new people, and I think we definitely have, bringing them into First Law, at least our friends and family. However, we're not like going to be making him a lot more money, and not saying he's money driven at all, but it is his job. And so when he's taking the time out of his day, I imagine he doesn't want to sit down and break down the stuff he's already written and gone through in his head over and over and over again like we do. So it might be a while.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but the only thing I would say is that you are like the only First Law dedicated podcast, and I do honestly look. Who knows? But I think you'd appreciate it. And like, look, whenever you're ready, I just say reach out.
We definitely want to.
I think you're right.
That'd be great.
I think you're right.
Like you guys put a lot of work into this, and you're like. You're like making my life better, and the all the other losers on House of Me Maker. No, I'm joking. Like five of us are doing the last argument of King's memes. It's like, nobody at that chapter or TamElBore or Bloody Nine will do it yet.
Yeah.
I had to give myself meme of the week last week.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, you guys were killing it. Were you doing them, George? Yeah.
That was George.
Yeah, George is doing them all, man.
Yeah, he was killing it.
But speaking of the house meme of the week, since we're here anyways in the conversation, George?
Right, yeah. So this week, guess who it is, guys? It's fucking TamElBore.
No way.
Not that asshole.
Wow.
Fucking meme god, baby.
And this is the chapter 58 of memeing every chapter from the last argument of Kings. Do you want to explain it, Doug?
Which one is it? Is it
the naked salt for you?
Oh yeah. So it's from American Psycho, and it's reference to one of the final scenes of Last Argument of Kings, where Glocta kindly passes over a naked soul to Pike, and Pike's like, "Impressive, very nice."
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Whenever you make a meme, TamElBore, I don't understand what it is. You just have a talent for it. Because a lot of people, you pull up a meme and you're like, okay, yeah, that's funny. But this one, like, yours always takes a little bit of thought, just enough thought that makes it to where
Thank you, Harrison. I appreciate it
every time.
Praise him.
I mean, I look at this page every single day, and I see your account every single day with something new. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, like I'm probably like a bit of a spammer, but I fucking love that page so much.
No, man. You keep it alive. Everybody. What was that? Somebody made a meme like I don't know, like 5 months ago, where it says like me trying to make
when you're
a
talking about.
movie. Yeah.
He's like holding up the sword.
Yeah. TamElBore, yeah.
Well, that was like when Jeff accused me of sucking off George because he kept giving me mean week. They're like, Jeff, the people's thing.
TamElBore's like, what you didn't know is it was true.
To be fair, I think it was about 3 weeks I was the only one who actually did a meme that week. So I was like, oh yeah, thanks guys. No, but to be fair, the stuff that Will does with the chapters, I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, it's a smart thing to do too. Like you keep it going. You know.
Yeah,
like
it's good fun. Yeah.
Keep the community, involved and engaged. You know.
Absolutely.
I just hope he gives us a little bit of time to catch up.
Yeah.
Hint.
Yeah.
We know you're listening, Will.
Yeah, like Will over in Denmark.
Yeah, fucking Denmark.
Fucking Denmark. What does the Danes ever do?
Cool. He's so educated, guys. We're completely outclassed by him. It's ridiculous.
He's gonna come back from Denmark and he's gonna be talking about Vikings and.
Yeah, he's gonna have fucking everything memorized. Like, I've never met somebody in my life that has so many references and knows so many things and can use them in tandem all at once, all the time. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't. It's so hard to keep up with them. It's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Did you guys enjoy their pod?
The what? Sorry.
They're like spoof pod.
Yes.
No, it was great.
Oh my god,
that was incredible.
Yeah, it was very funny.
We were they gave it to us the day before we went back. And we were all listening to it in the car, and it was we were just laughing, crying, driving on the fucking freeway.
Yeah, Will like emailed it before, and he was like, check this out, and I was like, this is brilliant. They were all like ad-libbing for like an hour, and I was like, I did like the wearing stuff, I won't lie.
Yeah, the wearing stuff is funny.
Yeah.
Just trying to piss off Jeff.
The famous whole...
Yeah, it was funny.
We got like thwarted by wearing. Sorry, Arson.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just that like really funny poll. You're like fucking wearing. Well, I vote for wearing.
Well, TamElBore.
No,
I think we are.
We're finished.
Well, if you have anything else to say, I don't want you to feel like we're limiting you at all. But I think Jeffrey's dying, so
I'm just melting in my friend's room right now in Philadelphia with no AC, and it's the second floor. It's the second floor, and I'm basically half naked right now. I'm fucking.
Tell us more.
I'm about to strip down to my underwear, boys. Get ready.
Yes.
Jeff, I was just saying, just really quick before you came on, I was talking to the guys and saying my only like pop culture reference to Jersey is Sopranos. So I just picture you as like a kind of poly kind of type, just ready to pitch some ass. And like my only thing with Harrison in Oklahoma is Tiger King.
Is Tiger King?
Yeah.
So you picture Harrison with like a mullet?
Harrison there with like it's like tigers,
I can assure you I'm far more prestigious than that.
You've got lines as well.
Yeah, Harrison uses pomade. I've only ever seen that in Red Dead.
Fuck you.
But also,
you literally live in the Wild West, my friend.
Okay, that's true.
George is like literally right beside me, so
yeah. If I literally live by like in North Liverpool, so I can look out to Ireland and I can nearly see it.
Yeah, totally.
There you go.
You guys should like honestly go over to Liverpool. It's a great city. It's great fun.
Well, when they do, you should come and visit us as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll like stalk Joe and do a live show.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna go and protest outside his house.
Look, he was on the show.
We're gonna get a big sign that says "Justice for Orso" and just stand outside his house for like 10 minutes.
That's hilarious. Maybe we should. No, see, that's harassment. We get it.
It's only harassment if it lasts for more than like half an hour.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
Oh my
That's what
God,
Ladislaw's line was too. I thought it was only harassment if it was for more than half an hour. All right, guys.
That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you all know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support really does mean a lot to us.
Join us next week as we have back on air the Serpent of Talons.
And make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're mostly active on Reddit, and we have a website. It's circleoftheworld.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any podcast app that you use. And please make sure to rate and review this podcast. Thank you all again for listening.
Drive them back over the board.